Hey everyone, sender of mixed signals here, at least when it comes to my attire. Here in my studying this month, I'll be reading a slew of very different and new titles. So let's start with horror. First of all, I got a few ARCs, advanced reading copies from NetGalley. So thank you publishers and NetGalley. The horror title I'll be reading and hopefully reviewing is Off the Grid by John Hunt. It is published by Black Rose Writing, and it actually already came out at the end of October, on the 31st, if I remember correctly. Let me sip on some of my mulled wine, it's quite good. It's sort of a prepper story. So this is a story about a guy named Graham Richards. He is shopping with his family, and there is an active shooter situation. He is wounded, his family is gone, and he wants to spend the rest of his life alone in the woods, living self-sustained life, just living outside of civilization. But then a situation happens in a city. A little girl is missing, and he is the first suspect, so he wants to clear his name, and that's the gist of it. Now next, we have a sci-fi hybrid, if we can call it that. It is a debut novel by R.W.W. Green called The Light Years. It is published by Angry Robot, and it comes out next year in February 11th. And it is essentially a love story, but what's interesting about it, it uses time dilation as sort of a backdrop element. And time dilation is, of course, when time passes differently thanks to relativity to different people. So someone presumably traveling light speed is traveling faster, so they're aging slower than the person who's waiting for them on Earth, for example. Probably one of the best time dilation stories ever, and my favorite one is The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. And also what drew me to this story is music is an important element of it. One of the characters is a musician, and it plays heavily into the plot. So that was kind of interesting to me. Next to this is something that I've been waiting for quite a while. It's a new title by Mike Cole, and it is his first purely SF novel. The closest that he came to writing an SF novel in the past was his first series, Shadow Ops. But that was kind of almost like a superhero series. It had sort of these special forces with superpowers, almost like an X-Men kind of situation. And this is a purely sci-fi book. It's inspired by his experience as a Coast Guard. It's also published by Angry Robot. It comes out next year on March 10th. And the story is, main character is a Coast Guard, but, well, in space, in the orbit. And they must prevent a war happening, a first lunar war. So this main character is a woman Coast Guard named Jane. She is close to her retirement, but she finds herself in a pickle, so to say. I don't want to spoil anything, but she is the one who needs to resolve a crisis. And lastly, I do want to read some of the classics this month, because what I usually do is I try to avoid just reading new stuff or just reading the classics. I want to mix things up, see what the trends are in publishing. So I will be reading Kindred by the amazing Octavia Butler. I only ever read her short story collection Bloodchild, long time ago. And I really loved it, but never delved further into her own work. But lately I've been kind of itching for a good vampire story, some quality vampire fiction, and that seems to fit a bill. And I do want to talk about it when I read it. So thank you guys for watching. You are always welcome to my setting. And as always, my fellow friends of the written word, have a good one.